Hello, I'm John Marshall. Welcome to Encounters, the Hidden Truth. Let's assume for a moment that the wildest claims of UFO believers are true. The government has recovered a spacecraft. The alien technology has been unraveled. Secret tests are being performed. Now, if we make those assumptions, we have to ask one key question. Where is all this happening?
There is an answer to that question, a military base that is so secret that many government officials don't know about it, a place so remote that it doesn't even exist on a map, a location that's known by a simple and chilling designation, Area 51. It is located 90 miles north of Las Vegas. Some call it Area 51. Others ominously call it Dreamland. But everyone calls it off limits. Every day, an estimated 1,500 people commute to Area 51. Few stay overnight. Sworn to secrecy, they're expressly forbidden to talk about what they do when they arrive. There is a reason for this intense secrecy, and that reason can be seen in the skies above the base. But some employees have broken their vow of silence and talked about Area 51, and their accounts defy belief.
There was saucer shape, kind of rounded on the bottom. They were pretty prevalent at the test site during those years.
We decided to conduct our own investigation of Area 51. If these rumors are true, then the military might be involved in a secret research program of staggering implications. Congressman Jim Bilbray is a member of the Armed Services Committee which oversees the base. That much we know. More than that, he won't say. You've been there?
Yes.
Can you tell us anything you've seen there?
No, I cannot.
In order to get a closer look at Area 51, we assembled a well-equipped strike team. Among them was Glenn Campbell, an investigator who believes that secrecy and democracy don't mix.
This is the sort of mystery that Sherlock Holmes would be interested in. If there are UFOs there, by shaking the secrecy tree, they might fall out.
Agent X has scouted Area 51 before, and he knows we have to be prepared.
We've got a plethora of gear. We've got night vision gear, we've got extreme telephoto lenses, we've got a spy cam, and we've got other bits and pieces of stuff I think that'll give us the edge.
Agent X is a self-proclaimed expert in covert weapons programs. Concerned about the security of our operation, he asked that our initial meeting take place on a busy street in Las Vegas. It was there that he first showed me photographic proof of Area 51's existence.
There's an enormous facility out there, and it does exist. I mean, I've taken the pictures of it. And something that stinks, for the most part, is going on there.
With Agent X as our lead guide, we assembled a crew of photographers, cameramen, and off-road drivers to take us within hiking distance of Area 51. First, we headed north to our jumping-off point. After a 3-hour drive in 120-degree heat, Agent X gave us our orientation briefing.
This road, Highway 375, is often referred to as either America's alien highway or the loneliest highway in America. Tonight, we're going to be going to a mountain just to the left there called Freedom Ridge. 11 miles past there is Dreamland.
Our final outpost was the small town of Rachel. This would be our last chance to get supplies before we headed into the deep desert. After we arrived, Glenn Campbell took us into his Area 51 Research Center, where he gave us a more detailed briefing on what we would soon encounter.
This whole area of the military border and adjoining public lands are patrolled by anonymous patrols, anonymous security personnel in camouflage fatigues without insignia, driving unmarked government vehicles. It's very hard to sneak in undetected simply because there's so many eyes out there.
Although Area 51 is located on Groom Lake, officially, there is no Groom Lake.
Groom Lake was on USGS maps up until the 70s, when the government actually removed it from the maps. It's sort of like those Russian cities that don't exist. In this very old map, we do see an airstrip here. We see roads for the Groom Lake base. And in later versions of this map, this airstrip has vanished.
After leaving Rachel, we journeyed over a few miles of paved road, and then our four-wheel drives took over. Even for experienced off-road drivers, getting close to Groom Lake was not easy. Finally, we set up a base camp in a hidden valley. As we waited for nightfall, I asked Agent X about our target.
What goes on in there?
What I think goes on out there is a great deal, much more than people think. I think that it's an operational base for advanced and exotic weaponry and technologies that we've developed. And also a wide range of aircraft are being tested out there. There's many stories that somehow or another these advanced articles that we are making are hybridized, that they're both advanced terrestrial technology and with an infusion of off-worldly stuff that we found in recovered saucers or whatnot.
For obvious reasons, the government refuses all comment.
The only thing they will say is that that is part of the Nellis Range and there is a sensitive military installation out there. But they don't say that there's a 35,000-foot runway. They don't say that there's hundreds of thousands of square feet of hangar space. They don't say any of that.
We've reached the last leg of our journey. The four-wheel drives have taken us just about as far as they can. It's sunset now, and Agent X will take us by foot to Freedom Ridge. We'll be there by nightfall. This could be the last time anyone will ever make that trip. It was a long hike to the last vantage point on public land from which to view Area 51. Ironically, it's called Freedom Ridge, but it won't be free much longer.
The Air Force applied to the Bureau of Land Management to withdraw 4,000 acres of public land for exclusive military use. The problem is the Air Force isn't acknowledging the real reason that they're taking this land. Obviously, they want to keep people off this land so they don't see what's going on down at Area 51.
Before making our final ascent, we sat down for a delicious meal of Army rations.
Well, it's just awful.
Well, keeps you alive.
By now, security guards are aware that we're here. We're just about to cross the hill into Freedom Ridge. About 12 miles down into the valley, we should be able to see the secret city, Dreamland, the military base that doesn't exist. The base is just right over this hill here. There it is.
From 12 miles away, it looks like a small town. But remember, this town doesn't exist. These remarkable daylight photographs show the real face of Dreamland.
At the south end of the base, there's the area where the two explosion-proof buildings are. A little further north than there is Hangar 18, the big, enormous hangar that is suspected to be the demate facility. As you go a little further, you come to 4 large hangars that are the Red Hat hangars, where we keep ex-Soviet and Russian and Chinese and other people's stuff for foreign material evaluation.
The term itself may be...
George Knapp has extensively debriefed people who actually worked at the base. They told him that a lot more is being tested at Area 51 than just sophisticated spy planes.
Sure. People who have seen disc-shaped craft hidden in hangars, people who have seen these things test flown, people who say they've seen them in underground facilities, both at Groom Lake and at Papoose Lake, people who tell incredible stories about what this technology is capable of, people who say they've been taking it apart to figure out how it works, and that the science, for all intents and purposes, is the equivalent of magic compared to where our science is.
A physicist who worked at Area 51 allegedly told his former assistant an even more bizarre story.
He said there had been an alien, or he didn't call it an alien, but he said a small-bodied creature, is what the term he used, that had survived that Roswell crash. And I said, where is he, or what happened to him? He said, well, as far as he knew back then, they took him out to Area 51.
I suspect that with this whole UFO question, the government probably had legitimate reasons for maintaining secrecy in the beginning. Something falls out of the sky, you don't know what it is. Something is buzzing around your planes, it can outmaneuver anything you've got, you don't know what it is. You don't make an announcement like that to the public. I figure that they were going to study it for a while until they figured out what it was. Then over the years, so many lies had been told, so much money had been diverted from other programs to maintain the secrecy. So many lies had been told not only to the American public but to Congress that there was no way to come out with it.
I can deny that, and I can tell you right now that I have never seen anything that resembles anything that's alien. Flying saucers, secret underground caverns, whether or not there's some facility up there that I've never seen, I can't tell you that. This area is as big as the state of Maryland or Virginia.
Without breaching Area 51's security, it's impossible to know exactly what is going on behind the barbed wire. But Encounters was able to create this computer simulation from a composite of Russian satellite photos, maps acquired from inside sources, and ground reconnaissance photos. For the first time, we can see what Area 51 really looks like.
Warning, you enter a restricted area. Deadly force is authorized.
Well, I know what I've been told by people who have been inside and have worked there is that there are legitimate national security things going on. It's still an ugly world. We still have enemies. Even though it's not a strategic enemy anymore, we still have enemies out there. I think people would be a lot more willing to go along with the land grab, willing to go along with pretending the base doesn't exist if, you know, if they were just open up a little bit and be honest about it.
I think the problem, again, of the Department of Defense is that there is more than one facility out there. And there are some facilities you know about, and I guarantee you there's some facilities you don't know about.
Then, at 4 a.m., we were detected by base security.
Keep moving through. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Go, 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 go.
My opinion is that involved in the excessive secrecy is a lot of money. That in some reports, and most recently the Federation of American Scientists have come out and said that it's possible as much as 40% of these programs is spent on secrecy.
Obviously, all our potential enemies know about Groom Lake. There are satellite images that are widely available. There's news reports on Groom Lake. The only people this base is being kept secret from are the American people.
I think you're playing with fire. They knew you were up there, and they immediately had to stop doing whatever they were doing and move everything into hangars or camouflage it. And then when you went back down, they'd start up again, working on what they were working on.
Russell, just how can the government keep all this secret?
Well, the answer to that question, as we've just seen, is not very well. Joining us this evening is Kent Jeffrey. Kent is spearheading an effort to declassify the kind of experiments that may be going on at Area 51. Kent, what exactly is the Roswell Declaration?
Well, the Roswell Declaration is a request to declassify any information that the government might have concerning UFOs or extraterrestrial intelligence.
If indeed this declaration is acted on, what's next?
Well, it could possibly end up providing the answer to one of the most fundamental questions ever asked by man. Are we alone?
I'm John Marshall. Good night.